Hey! Travis Carper, Ascension Guide, Holistic Health Coach. Today, let's see here. Let me figure this out. I want some fun facts. Okay, consider these fun facts. Earth's velocity in its orbit around the sun isn't constant because it's not a circle, but instead elliptical. That means that at times Earth will be farther away from the sun than at others. Farther away equals slower orbital velocity, closer equals faster velocity. The average velocity is 67,108 miles per hour. The elliptical orbit around the sun. Now, the sun's orbit around our galaxy is 559,234 miles per hour. The sun's orbit around our galaxy. That's like 559,000 miles per hour. Okay, the moon's velocity around the Earth, 2,286 miles per hour. The moon's, the moon base. You know, we'll talk about that later. It's just basically was put here as a base. Okay. I'm telling you, you can always go deep down into the rabbit holes, man. You can go deep into serious meditations and really talk to your higher self. Okay. Our galaxy, yeah, the Milky Way galaxy rotates at about 492,125 miles per hour. Wow. So the galaxy, the rotation of it, you know, we're talking like, that's like 500,000 miles per hour. So you're on top of the surface of like this Earth, right? And what did I say? That the Earth's velocity around the sun was almost like 70,000 miles per hour. So we're whipping through space, man. We are whipping through space. I just want you guys to consider what's going on. We're on the surface of our Gaia, the spirit of Mother Earth, of Earth, right? We call it Earth. We're going to call it Nova Earth or New Earth, okay? So, and it's because it's heading, you know, they call it the bifurcation of planets, or bifurcation, like when you step into another dimensional, into another dimension, third, fourth, fifth. So they call it the bifurcation of planets. Bifurcations, timelines, like the Mandela effect and stuff. We can get into all that later. That's pretty complicated stuff when you get talking about space-time and quantum physics and whatnot. And okay, so yes, so it's like our own spaceship. If you think about it, we're on the top of the surface of this planet, and it's all these elliptical things going on, all these rotations, all these alignments, right? And it's like our own spaceship, and it's like this cool natural one and stuff. All right, so let's see what I want to talk about today. Let's just talk a little bit today about Ascension. You know, let me just read from like what is Ascension on one of the articles on the 3decrees.org. Let's just talk a little bit about it. I mean, because I just always think that everybody knows about the awakening, the conscious stuff, because, you know, for me, like when I was 17, I went to like the Arc bookstore in Seattle, Washington or something. I mean, and I was always digging through everybody's self-published books and trying to find the truth to things way back when. So, and then going and camping and meditating on weird supernatural stories that I have about that. So I always just think that everybody knows about like this revelation or this evolution of consciousness and kind of cosmically and spiritually and metaphysically, and how it all fits together because it's all the same. It's just how you communicate it. You know, I mean, when it boils down to the teaching, the number one thing is love, right? Love conquers all, man. There's no doubt about it. I mean, you can just walk around just like feeling love in your heart, you know? I mean, the outside world can do whatever it wants. But if you have love in your heart and you do cross some kind of bad vibe, I did the other day, I was bicycling, and there was a guy that was angry, and he was walking by yelling and stuff, and I just got really calm, and I just invited love into my heart, because I knew that was might be a confrontation. And then he wanted to have a little bit of a confrontation, but it eased out of that confrontation because of the fact that I was so calm around him. And believe me, he, you know, if you're in that vibe, if you're in that frantic vibe yourself, you never know. I mean, he could have pulled out a knife or whatever, but just trying to stay calm. Things can still happen to you for sure, but and as far as I remember doing things, as far as like, you know, being a bartender or a cab driver at different times, never to carry like a weapon or something, because you're inviting that, because in your subconscious you will use that. You will know that it's there. Not that it's bad. I mean, some people can do it. Some people can have like a weapon in their house and stuff, and they can have that mental ability to, you know, just to know that it's there as far as a secure thing. For me, I like to keep a lot of love in my heart, and sure, there's confrontation, and yes, I've been hit before, kind of like in the back of the head and stuff, but I've also stepped out and pushed that person out, and then went on my merry way, right? And didn't say like, you know, nasty things, said good things, blessings, good luck with that, you know, kind of a thing, and then moved on. I don't know how I got off on that topic, but we are going to talk about Ascension. The awakening, the, you know, when you bring in your alignment of your own bioelectrical body, you know, I always talk about it. When you know, that's like the Kundalini, your sinners, your awakening, it kind of shoots up back through Mother Earth. I mean, it comes in through your crown, you know, the soul star chakra and your crown chakra and everything, and it comes down and through, and then it comes back through Gaia up into your spine. And it's like, I personally remember that I was like working out a little bit in Key West, and I just remember one night it felt like my spine expanded. And then the next day, I used to jump up to do these pull-ups on a bar, and I didn't have to jump. I was flat-footed, and I grabbed the bar. Yeah. So that kind of awakening is the beginning, and then you're adding more and more photonic light into your body, and you're also giving it to the earth and everybody else. It's a whole system. It's a whole symbiotic system. And you're a part of it too, just like all of life, all of nature, trees and plants and animals and stuff. We're all taking in energies from the sun and the cosmic particles, and we're transforming it and transmuting it into, and this is the changes that are going on. It's like waves, and you got to get like a spiritual, metaphorical, really nice surfboard so that you can ride these waves. Because I always talk about, there's going to be some bigger ones. I mean, that one that was March 15th to like April 3rd was like massive for me. It was like, wow. Anyways, let's read from this. Ascension is a change in frequency. Dimensions are based on vibrations. Each dimension has a range of frequencies, which in turn create the reality or experience within that dimension. Ascension is a simultaneous increase of expanding consciousness, as a human being undergoes the ascension process, or the awakening, or whatever you guys want to call it, the revelations or the apocalypse of the psyche, the solar Christos consciousness, the unity consciousness, that person shifts into perspectives of higher consciousness. Third dimensional reality is the lowest density or frequency which a human expression of consciousness can experience. 3D reality, including the illusion of linear time and the inability to perceive higher dimensions and to connect to the rest of the universe, is forgotten. So that's what happened, like we've forgotten. So that's why we're trying to remember like who we are. And that's some of these tools and techniques that I'm giving you, the good healthy eating thing, the bring back all the natural herbs and stuff into your biological form, into your avatar, your temple, and bringing that natural flow back and getting away from the synthetic world and basically, getting away from all that stuff that's been built and all those social conditionings too, like own a car, buy a house, and you don't own any of that. The bank does. And so you just become the slave, and you don't really have, it's very difficult, I think, for people in this modern world to have, unless you break free from it, break free from the matrix, that you have the time or the capacity to expand your creativity and your discernment and your thought patterns, and breaking away from that, and when you do, you get very alternative, you do, and maybe it's hard for some people to be different, but to break away from the status quo and all of that and have free thinking thoughts. Free thinkers, man. Free thinkers. Okay. Inability to perceive dimensions and connect to the rest of the universe is forgotten. The illusion of separation. Separate from source, ourselves, and everything. The ascension process is the transformation of the physical body, the light body, and the consciousness which animates it, in order for it to hold a higher frequency. Your higher self is merging with your lower dimensional self. Your 5D self and higher are being integrated into your physical and light bodies and expanding your consciousness. As a human being undergoes the ascension process, that person shifts into perceptions of higher consciousness, which can include increased awareness of energy in the environment and perceiving of the multi-dimensional realities, sensing extra-dimensional entities, and feeling a direct communion with Source, parentheses, God, whatever you want to call it, the, Source, God, the tetrahedron, the universe, the multiverse, the omniverse, the whatever you want to call it, and the interconnected energy that exists between all things. Now, on the quantum and particle physics governing this flow or movement of consciousness through the space-time continuum, the fluidic fractal space-time continuum. And basically, I wrote it in the book, but I'll say it now. Basically, like God, like us, like we're pieces of it, right? And this cool, it's too think about, it's because the meaning is the meaning you give it, actually, but the meaning that I'm giving it is, like, on a big grander scale, is just to experience itself, to experience love in all its myriad forms and diverse expressions. Because if you're just an omnipotent being, just think logically, if you're an omnipotent being and you're like, I'm omnipotent, well, you don't know yourself. You're just kind of a spoiled brat, right? All those parables, all those stories. So you break yourself apart into all these really cool diversity, divinity. You break yourself apart, and then you can experience yourself. And so you're experiencing love. Your experience, and it gets really down here into the darkness and stuff, this lower level, this sub-universe, and we get into it, and then, man, when you're climbing out of that, though, how much more beautiful does beautiful look when you're climbing out of just the horror, the dark stuff. And it's time that we climb out back into the light. Anyways, okay, here we go. Governing flow, movement, consciousness. The gamma rays and the adamantine particles that are flowing into this solar system are transmuting everything into the higher frequency. And also, you know, we're in that photon belt too, the Alcyon's toric field, the Alcyon's morphogenetic field. So we're in these fields too, and then also I think there's a lineup of the central sun too to our galaxy, our Milky Way galaxies lining up too. So we're in these fields, you know, which I talk about all the time. Okay, I'm not going to say junk DNA that's getting transmuted. Yes, it is. Okay, soul's blueprint, metaphysics, talk about carbon bodies moving to a crystalline. These carbon bodies, I've already said about that are moving towards more of a crystalline body. It's a silicate body matrix is what it is, and it's like a 12, it can go to like 12 dimensions, or all of your DNA strands are lining up again and coming back to life. Greater connection to the love in our hearts. Yep, that's what happens too, because there's those particles, adamantine particles, have their own specific things that they're code, like it's code, right? These are the codes, like people say, oh, I'm receiving codes, messages, codes, downloads, I'm receiving that telepathically. Well, these particles too transmute because they're coded too, right? They're coming through the cosmos, the cosmic intelligence, and it's coming through, and God is all about love, and it's a higher frequency, and it's changing the frequency, and it's raising it. So that raising it, and that's why it's ascension. And in this round of the ascension process, there's all kinds of different ascension cycles. Okay, this is just one round. But it's a good one. It's a good one, man. It's not, you're like, oh man, there's more. Oh man, this has been heavy. No, but you know, this is the good one, man. It'll be good for like 1,000 years or something, you know. So, and then we'll go on, and then you'll get bored, and then you'll go, oh well, let's do something different. Let's go explore and experience something new. Okay. So the awakening, solar Christos, apocalypse of the psyche, Christ consciousness, unity consciousness. Okay, this is all part of the ascension. Separation and duality are fading right now. So it's going to be the bifurcation of this world. It's going to kind of separate. And don't ever worry about like, well, I've got too much darkness inside of me. I'm not going to be able to go to 5D. Don't be worrying about that, because if you're already worried about it, then you're probably not. You're good to go. It's like an entity or a person or their soul group that really wants to stay in a 3D and dominate, and basically stay in that dark road, because they probably just can't now. By it's been so long of doing darkness that they just can't even see the light. So it's very difficult. But that is also because of the fact that, well, yeah, it's been so long and they can't, but also saying they're trying to go about it in a different way. That's why our DNA is so important, and the super massive diversity of planet Earth. It's a living library is what it is. It is this nice piece of real estate on this side of the galaxy. It is a special place, and it's a special thing for us to come and be involved in this. So feel very blessed that you got to come here and be a part of this expansion, of this awakening, of this certain linear timeline that we're in, this primary timeline. I think there's like the three of them, but I think we're in the real good one here. People that are listening to me talk, I'm pretty sure we're hitting the primary timeline target. So it feels good. What was I gonna say? So yeah, Ascension. We're talking Ascension. That's good. Excellent. A little bit more about that, and maybe that explains some stuff. Because you know how I talk about the morphogenetic fields and energy in your own little temple, getting that lined up, and how it's kind of symbiotic with the whole cosmic lineup and everything. That's what I wanted to say today. I wanted to throw little tidbits out there, you know, a little bit painting a bigger picture. You know, we're flying through the cosmos right now, man. Wow. So stay healthy, stay hydrated, stay very hydrated with good structured water and distilled water, you guys, because you know your body, I talk about it all the time, it's like 70% water, and it's a flexible thing. So remember what you surround yourself with. If you're hanging out with somebody who's just smoking cigarettes and panicking all the time, you might not want to be around that person. I know, even if they're a family member and you love them, you know, because that'll affect your water and your vibration. You know, there's water up in your brain too, man. You'll be like, chink, chink, that's no good. Now I'm starting to get pissed off. You see what I'm saying? So these fields, these electromagnetic fields, these morphogenetic fields, your bioelectrics, very important. That's what we're getting into now. We're starting to get into that whole like cosmic and quantum healing type stuff, you know? We're kind of like getting out of the separation that apple is different than me. No, there's the water in the apple and stuff, and the glucose and the seeds and the vitamins and stuff, and then when before you eat the apple, you give a little kiss, you go, yeah, man, thank you, apple. And then you go, you're delicious. Thank you for filling my biological body full of nutrients. You know? Okay, that's it. That's a lot. Yeah, stay hydrated, everybody, man. Stick with this. This is going to be exciting. I'm serious. There's going to be some crazy things go on. I mean, there's already the sounds, you know, of like the spaceship sounds, and it's like all of that, and then the different rainbow clouds. There's going to be a lot of cool stuff going on. So hang in there, man. Okay. Love you all.